leader. This is the MTN 10 o'clock news.
Good evening and thanks for joining us tonight. I'm Russ Riesinger. The heat is on. The Pacific Northwest is baking in record high temperatures. As we take a live look outside at the Magic City on this Monday night, our temperatures are also on the way up this week, but fortunately, we won't be as hot as places along the Pacific coast are right now. Tonight, nearly 20 million people in the region are under an excessive heat warning covering nearly all of Washington and Oregon, plus 5 other states. Danya Backus has more.
Parts of the Pacific Northwest have never been hotter.
This is unseasonably warm.
As temperatures soared to triple digits in California, the Jenkins took an early walk to beat the heat.
We know we have to get the exercise in. We have to do it. So like we said, come early, drink water, eat healthy.
In Seattle, Washington, the city is experiencing days of triple digits for the first time ever.
Unfortunately, we're starting to see this year after year. It's getting hotter and hotter. Climate change is real.
Seattle's summer months are usually mild, with average June temperatures in the 60s and 70s. Many homes do not have air conditioning. Now stores selling AC units are having trouble keeping up with demand.
We had 3 that were available to customers. That's all we could get.
Meteorologists say the extreme temperatures hitting the Pacific Northwest are unlike anything they've seen before.
This is a once-in-a-thousand-year event.
COVID-19 is making the situation worse. Cooling shelters and community centers where people without air conditioning can normally get some relief are offering limited seating or none at all.
This is difficult. I don't know why the police station is closed to the public.
Even the animals are feeling the heat. At the Oregon Zoo in Portland, workers made sure the bears had plenty of water to take a dip and cool off. Danya Backus, CBS News, Los Angeles.
That heat trend expected to continue through the 4th of July. All right, turning to Chief Meteorologist Ed McIntosh in the Weather Center. Ed, dangerously hot temperatures in places that don't normally ever even come close to reaching triple digits.
That's right. We've been breaking all-time record high temperatures in much of the Pacific Northwest consistently day after day. Today was the hottest so far. How about 117 in Salem, Oregon, 116 in Portland, and Seattle, 107. None of those communities have ever recorded those hot of temperatures since record keeping started. You can see the same thing around Yakima, over towards Spokane. Across Montana, we also saw the temperatures start to heat up. Western Montana, near 100 in Missoula today, 95 in Kalispell. And we're in the 80s across the eastern plains, but that will start to heat up here through the week as well. So something hot, how about something just a little cooler, or at least, something fun you can do tonight. Go out and check out the moon, Saturn, and Jupiter will make a triangle in the sky if you want to stay up to the overnight hours. Come back and take a look at the forecast in just a little bit.
Well, the threat of wildfires remains high across the state. Muscle County saw that firsthand over the weekend when a large fire broke out on Saturday. In response, the county is moving into stage 2 fire restrictions coming up at midnight tonight. That means, among other things, no campfires until further notice, no outdoor smoking except in an area that is at least 3 feet in diameter and cleared of flammable materials. And fireworks are banned on all county and private property. Individuals in violation could face a $5,000 fine and organizations up to $10,000, as well as jail time and being held liable for any damages. Well, fireworks may be in short supply this 4th of July, which isn't necessarily a bad thing with such a high risk of wildfires, but it's not good for the people who make their living selling them. Q2 Shaquille Cozart met up with one local retailer to see just how it's affecting their business.
Just like around the country, people in Billings are noticing a fireworks shortage. And with the big day approaching in just under a week, what does that mean for big fireworks shows and consumers here locally?
Supposed to be a 65% fireworks shortage in the whole United States, which I think is coming true. If you look around the city of Billings in Montana, you'll see some stands that are from nationwide companies like TNT and that. They don't get as many fireworks in their stands, and their stands don't look as full.
George Rickenback has been in the firework business for over 21 years, but he says this year things are looking a bit different. His warehouse that he keeps fireworks stocked is looking a bit low of inventory, and many of the orders that he placed last July have yet to arrive.
When I'm saying low on stock, I might have 2 cases of one kind, where I got 40 or 50 cases.
Rickenback said the shortage has made it hard for customers to get the fireworks they want.
Yeah, they all want assortments, but I don't have any. They're stuck on containers. Assortment packs and artillery shells and 500-gram cakes. The bigger cakes is what mainly goes out of here.
But individual consumers aren't the only ones feeling the effects of the shortage. Rickenback's brother Todd, who runs Metro Park and other fireworks shows around town, says he's also had to make some changes.
Supply was a little bit tougher this year. Our product, most of it comes from China. They were shut down for a while. Getting the product over here has gotten much more expensive, as well as being able to get it over here.
But Rickenback says that while some shows around the country have had to shut down due to the shortage, the show will go on in Billings.
We do have the product out here, but we did have to pay a little more for it, and we're still going to put on good shows.
Reporting in Billings, I'm Shaquille Kozar with MTN News.
Rickenbach says that they are now paying 20% more to supply their show with fireworks, which comes out to be a significant cost over last year. Well, the U.S. Supreme Court delivered a big blow to Montana and Wyoming coal today. The court decided that it won't allow the two states to sue Washington State for denying a key permit to build a coal export dock that would have sent coal to Asia. In 2017, the Washington State Department of Ecology denied a permit for that export dock, saying the facility on the Columbia River would cause irreparable and unavoidable environmental harm. However, Montana and Wyoming argued last year that denying the permit violated the U.S. Constitution's prohibition against trade protectionism between states. Based on today's ruling, attorneys for Washington State officials won out after arguing they were not trying to block Wyoming and Montana coal, but acted because of valid environmental concerns about the dock. Democratic Washington Governor Jay Inslee welcomed the Supreme Court decision, but Wyoming Governor Mark Gordon called the ruling extremely frustrating. Tonight, the Billings City Council approved the 2022 budget worth $464 million. Q2's Mitch Legge joins us now with more.
In an 8-3 vote Monday night, the Billings City Council approved the 2022 fiscal year budget, setting the stage for another year of spending on projects and the addition of 15 full-time positions across the city. City Finance Director Andy Zeller called out some projects expected to receive funding this year, including $7 million for the airport expansion, $80 million for a new West End water treatment plant, and $11.6 million allocated to be spent for the city to purchase the Stillwater building to allow the city departments more room to work. The city was able to put money toward the Stillwater building after general fund money was freed up when the city received federal coronavirus relief dollars that paid for some public safety services. City Administrator Chris Kukulski said the asking price for the old federal courthouse is about $17 million, and the council will see a buy-sell agreement at its June 12th meeting. The budget overall is worth $464 million and uses $1.3 million of the city's reserves. City leaders hope a public safety mill levy worth $7 million will allow no reserve money to be spent and invest the remainder in growing public safety services in Billings. Voters will have the final say in an election on November 2nd. Reporting in Billings, Mitch Legge, MTN News.
Also in City Council news, the council will finally be back in its regular chambers at City Hall starting next Monday after more than a year of virtual and hybrid meetings brought about by the COVID-19 pandemic. Well, active cases of COVID-19 have fallen below 400 in Montana, marking a continued steady decline. But hospitalizations from the virus remain constant for the past couple of months, meaning hospitals are still dealing with severe cases that require intensive care. NPN's John Riley met up with frontline workers to see why the state's hospitalization rate has been holding steady in recent months.
We're not seeing the numbers of hospitalizations that we saw during the peak. We're still seeing a very consistent number of hospitalizations over time. And moreover, that proportion of people being hospitalized is getting younger over time.
On January 19th, when the state moved to Phase 1B of vaccination efforts, Montana was averaging nearly 400 cases a day, with 185 individuals hospitalized across the state. By April 1st, when the state opened vaccinations to anyone over the age of 16, there were almost 130 daily cases with 50 active hospitalizations. Just last week, Montana had dropped to 52 cases a day, with 58 people hospitalized on average. St. Peter says looking at the numbers of the new hospitalizations, the common factor is they didn't get the vaccine and often have a risk factor like diabetes, which is a common condition in the state.
A lot of people are hesitant, I think, because of how sick they might get if they're vaccinated, but I can testify that being hospitalized with COVID is a lot more detrimental to work schedules and lifestyles than the vaccine.
St. Peter's frontline workers, those who are dealing with the most severe cases of COVID in the area, say the best thing people can do right now is, if they haven't already, get vaccinated. There's plenty of options available, and it protects the entire community. Reporting in Helena, John Riley, MTN News.
Well, as of the 24th of this month, Montana had identified 556 cases related to variant strains of COVID-19, including 61 so far here in Yellowstone County. 11 of those have been identified as the Delta variant, by far the most in the state. Also, a sixth death this month was reported here in Yellowstone County related to COVID. Well, still ahead on the MTN 10 o'clock news on Q2, the Museum of the Rockies welcoming another exhibit, but this one took a little bit extra time to arrive. We'll explain coming up. Then a little later in sports, Golfing for a Cause, a celebrity tournament making a difference in the youth sports community up in Lewistown. We'll take you there coming up in just a bit.